Hello and welcome. You're watching The Social Network on NDTV 24/7. And today, unsurprisingly, one of the top trends has been Uttarakhand. In the wake of the disaster we have seen there, the flooding, the flash floods, the landslides, the thousands of people stranded, the hundreds of lives lost. No wonder everybody is talking about those striking images which have been doing the rounds and which are now ingrained in everyone's minds. But the question that we are asking for you on The Social Network today is, could the floods damage have been contained had man-made interventions been less? Have no lessons been learned, or have lessons not been learned enough? Joining us on the show today, Harsh Gupta from the National Disaster Management Agency. Now, sir, we're going to start off with you and ask you the first question, which is that we understand that this is unprecedented rainfall. Nobody expected it. There was no warning for it. There are limitations to what the authorities could have done. That said, could things have been done earlier which could have prevented the scale of the disaster from being quite so large?
I think it's a very valid question, and you very rightly said that there was no way of predicting these events. So these things require a long-term planning and a total participation of the public, because what happens that government comes up with some plans or some suggestions which are not implemented, and that creates the maximum problem. And Kajali, you must also understand that we have a very unique situation, and this is happening globally. The number of extreme events is increasing. We still have.
But doesn't that mean, sir, that we have to be even more aware?
Yeah, we have to be more aware and more prepared. And that's where the basic question lies, that why were we not better prepared? If we had a better participation of the public, things like that we know that there should be no construction close to the river banks. Even in 2004 tsunami, all the damage was done because of the construction within 500 meters of the high tide line, which was not permitted. So if we were better prepared, if we did not have so much of deforestation, the situation has improved quite a bit. In the last several years, I think last 10, 12 years, there have been a lot of afforestation, but trees take time to. Then what we do, that we make a lot of roads. While we make a road, we have to take proper care that how are we affecting the stability of the slope.
Certainly.
Are we making it more steep? And if we do that, so you have a situation that the slope has been made steeper, and the trees which bind the soil together are displaced.
Absolutely. Now, let me go back to one point that you made, and that is the acknowledgement across the board that illegal constructions, you just said it yourself, illegal constructions exist. There have been not one, but several rulings coming from courts at various levels saying it has to be stopped, these need to be removed. I believe hundreds of the buildings washed away in the floods that we've seen have in fact been these illegal constructions. Why hasn't more been done?
Well, you know the answer as well as I know, because there has to be a total public understanding of the situation and participation in it. So whenever a situation arises that you want to erase a illegal house, etc., something happens that does not happen. Why do you go there? You look at Delhi.
Right.
How many illegal constructions are there? And suppose, God forbid, you have a major earthquake or something, you will see the kind of situations over here.
Right. Also joining us on the show right now, environmentalist Himanshu Thakkar, as well as on the phone line, activist and academic Ajay Rawat, who's joining us from Uttarakhand. Let's first quickly go over to Mr. Rawat, who's on the phone line with us. Dr. Rawat, we've just been talking with Harsh Gupta from the NDMA about the illegal construction and the very real threat which comes to the loss of life and property from these illegal constructions. What is the real story behind them on the ground?
You see, as far as Uttarakhand is concerned, there are no rules and regulations. They are being flouted like anything. And the builder mafia over here has become very powerful, and there is a nexus between some politicians and the builder mafia. The rules are being brazenly flouted. As a matter of fact, if you see the damage, the catastrophe which occurred recently, the diabolic catastrophe, if you assess it, see all the constructions which were on the river banks in Uttarkashi and in other places, they just came down like playing cards. So you see, As a matter of fact, there's no concept of floodplains in Uttarakhand. I mean, people are constructing just on the bank of the rivers. So this is one of the problems. And if you come to townships, in townships also there's brazen flouting of rules. I am from Nainital, and in Nainital was declared eco-sensitive zone long back by the central government. The state government is doing nothing in this regard. And in Nainital, the Jheel Vikas Pradhikaran, who's supposed to be the developing authority and the town planning, what they are doing is, they are permitting constructions in the green belt and in the prohibited zones, which they have themselves classified. So this is, apart from this, yes?
Right, sir. I think there's one point that you've made that I want to take up with our other guests as well. Let me just go over to Himanshu Thakkar, who's with us as well. Dr. Thakkar, can you also, we've been talking all this while about illegal constructions. We've been talking about how this has been a problem which has cropped up. It's been brought up repeatedly, and we've seen now those constructions getting swept away. But that's not the first time we've seen it. Do you think that lessons aren't being learnt from the previous times we've seen these incidents?
Exactly. In August 2012, Uttarkasi faced almost exactly same kind of disaster. At that time also, television channels were showing the collapsing of building like card boxes. Similarly, in September 2012, Rudraprayag also faced similar kind of disaster where 69 people died in a landslide in monsoon flash flood. So, and Rudraprayag has actually faced 7 such monsoon disasters, just about related to landslides and flash floods. The point, and after the August, both this disaster last year, there are reports from Disaster Management Authority at the state level which clearly say what needs to be done, how riverbed construction and the floodplain construction needs to be declared illegal, need to be relocated in time-bound manner. There needs to be complete ban on any construction along the river, including even roads, they have said. The second report had said that there should be no use of, allowed to be any use of dynamite or blasting material in any project anywhere in Uttarakhand. But all of this is going on, and going on under the permission from the authorities. And I think the National Disaster NDMA cannot wash its hands off saying that, we know what is going on. Actually, at least NDMA, what they could have done is clearly demarcate where are the riverbeds and floodplains, and show which are the illegal construction. If they had put that up in their website and show it to everybody in the world, then we would have known that they have taken some action. But they have completely failed in that.
Right, let's see what the NDMA has to say about that. Let's toss this question to Mr. Gupta. Mr. Gupta, you heard Mr. Thakkar's point there. They're saying that not only have lessons not been learned, but warnings have not been heeded. That if this happened not even a year ago, then perhaps there should have been more of an alert on. You couldn't have anticipated it, but perhaps maybe an eye should have been kept open for it.
Well, I think this is a very justified observation. But first of all, let me make it scientifically correct what is being said. There is no comparison between what happened in August of 2012 and what is happening in June of 2013, because the kind of rainfall we have had now is truly unprecedented. And you imagine that in Dehradun there has been a 30 centimeters of rain in 2 days' time. So, that apart. Now, National Disaster Management Authority is an advisory body. It has made the plans, it has made the directions that what should be followed. And then it becomes a responsibility of the states to implement those suggestions. We are not implementing authority. And then the question would come that you are tossing responsibility from central authority to the state authority and vice versa. So, it will continue. But the fact remains that it is the perception of a citizen. A citizen should recognize that everyone who has built house close to the river
needs to take responsibility for that house built.
And at the same time, that person also recognize who is the ultimate sufferer, that citizen.
Absolutely.